Heralds of Galactus, Herald's difficulty. We're going to go over in this particular video the champions I use, some tips and tricks, some things to look out for, and other such information. There is a really bad time to playing anything in-game at the moment, and that is really based on the AI. The difficulty, in my opinion, is alright. It's not something that's overly difficult, and it's not something that's overly easy. However, though, there are some champions that make a lot of it more straightforward, and I would say that you need to concentrate on bringing in champions that interact well with the boss, but maybe have one lane clearer or path clearer, or maybe a second path clearer to deal with different things. I'm not sure if I agree with this champion or these champions having ancient knowledge. I just feel that that's a little bit of a frustrating edge the Cabal want to put our way, but it's not the be all and end all. There's a lot of champions that will be able to deal with path clearing, and especially if you go with the Cosmic, and obviously this is based on the Cosmic episode of this particular daily quest, then you can go very smoothly upwards rather than around. There are some decent champion interactions, and a lot of the time you can just cheese this route. And if you're looking for low cost path clearing, especially from doing Drax, Hela, Venom, then because they're a poison and bleed immune as well as incinerate immune, you can use the likes of Domino with the incinerate synergy. I would say only use Red Hulk because, well, that would be the best option, as having an extra slot for another champion would be more safe for some champion interactions with the boss at the end. And yeah, you can use Archangel as I used, as well as other champions that clear that. Mojo with persistent charges. Hulk Bust, even though it's class disadvantage, don't know if I overly recommend it. And as well with the likes of Void and, you know, Red Hulk being the fact that you won't lose that 50% from ancient knowledge, there would be a good option. Also, don't undermine other champions that do huge amounts of debuff damage. Your Omega Reds, also Colossus as well. And there's so many others that would be good for singly champion usage that can path clear. Archangel obviously was my MVP for this. Now, when you come to the likes of Hyperion and the champion, this is when I think you might have to change things up. And finding champions that stagger as opposed to nullify would be an advantage. I don't know if it's a big problem to have champions that nullify. Yes, by the means of the global node, you will get spanked if that's the case, that you won't be able to build any power. But is it really necessary if you've suppressed things like the Unstoppable and as well the likes of power gain? So maybe think about that. Maybe having a champion that can, yes, maybe nullify and as well stagger, or, you know, vice versa. Hood staggers. I don't know if I say it. So Jane Foster Thor staggers. But look, there are people out there that use Jane Foster, so I don't know why it's like any shade should be put on anybody that ranks up and uses a Jane Foster, because I know people that have used that champion in the past. But there are a lot of configurations, and especially once you've, and I don't want to say like, oh, you must use Doctor Doom, because look, yeah, a lot of people do have Doctor Doom, but there are people out there that do not have Doctor Doom. So yeah, if there's any other options that are stagger related, I'll probably put in the next infographic bit of info that comes up in a second. Okay, now on to counters. Now, I know a lot of people know if you get close to the champion whilst he's in frozen air mode, he will put a cold snap on you, but that's up to you. If you want to play the champion, if you want to play aggressively, that is up to you. If you want to play more passively and wait for that frozen air to kind of go, then you're still going to have the problem of looking out for that power gain, which is still going to be frustrating. Anyway, here's some options and some counters. So Ghost, actually the first thing is Sasquatch is the perfect counter because he's got stagger and cold snap immunity, which is just so annoying. So annoying to have a champion that's been recently released. If you didn't get him in arena or in the crystals, then yeah, the counter has not been made just yet. But there are options now. I'm not going to say that's the be all and end all, because you do have Ghost, which phases, doesn't deal with the power control if you are playing aggressively, but it does mean that the cold snap will be converted to a Fury buff. Nick Fury, after 10 charges, doesn't deal with the power control if you're playing aggressively. Aegon shrugs after 100 hits, but no power control if you're playing aggressively. Rogue, now I did try Rogue out, and she did not shrug the debuffs, which I have alerted to Kabam. Maybe it's something to do with the way that I was playing, not 100% sure, but she was not shrugging those cold snap debuffs, which I thought was incredibly weird. But in any case, whatever. She does power control with the SP2. Human Torch, but he doesn't suppress the power gain, but does he is immune Mephisto is an interesting one. If you are building up the persistent charges, which I didn't, but I wanted to test out to see how effective it was, you're theoretically throwing SP1s, you do get that regeneration, you suppress the power gain, and as well you're immune with the cold snap, so that's something of a massive plus. Cap Infinity War if you're taking a skill and tech on your team, but do bear in mind, I have put these options out there, however, they are against the ancient knowledge, which is that reduction of 50% based on the global node. So that's just like a point of reference there. There's also some obscure ones if you're interested. Mr. Sinister, SP1, you can fire back at him if you want to. There is from the SP3 some element of power control, but I don't know if I'd overly recommend it. Cap Marvel movie does have some amazing awaken, by the way. Goes into binary, shrugs off with indestructible, any of the debuffs currently on, and as well, you know, can just put in some massive amounts of damage very, very quickly. I would say don't do what I did, which was go into that fight with nothing ramped up, but I was using a lot of the path clearing. And at the end of the day, yeah, I used Dr. Doom for a lot of this, but there are other options out there. And Bishop, which can do massive damage if you lead into the next fight, but that's more of an acquired taste. It's just a build up on that that power and that energy build up, and smashing in specials left, right, and center. In hindsight to this video, I did go in blind as to like what champions I'd be taking into it. And maybe it's in the future, like if there's something where the rich get richer, that it would be more of advantageous for me to take in something like Hyperion. And maybe that's like a bit kind of like out there, but maybe the idea that I could spam in something like the heavy attacks for a little while and then come back and then throw in loads of SP2s, try and chain my SP2s, could mean that I stack up a few 100,000 damage in a very short space of time. But I am going to play about some other theories prior to the next week that this comes out, and also try some other champions as well to interact. But still very interesting. Not sure if I'm a massive fan of the push for you have to really take in this class because otherwise it gets reduced down. It's not the be all and end all. I just think that it's a little bit frustrating for those that maybe have like lower ranked champions for this. But in any case, not too bad, bit of fun. And what were your champions you used? Put it in the comment section down below. And thanks for watching. Check out the Marvel Contest of Champions news posted a few hours ago, and as well far left hand corner is another video which I don't know, check out as well. Some other stuff down here, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.